Hello students, welcome to Miss Parbaum's art class. Today in this session, we'll be analyzing one of Robert W. Weir's paintings finished in 1836. It has quite a long title. It is called The Picture of the Embarkation of the Pilgrims from Delfthaven in Holland. Today, this painting is found in Washington, D.C. in the Capitol. If you ever want to check it out, it is such an incredible piece of art. I love this painting because it really captures the purpose of the Pilgrim's journey and their faith in God. As you can see, the people are kneeling down in prayer to the Lord before they leave for their voyage. They know they will face tribulation ahead and are putting their trust in the God as their sovereign leader to provide for them during the whole journey. Today we're going to explore a couple of questions, and hopefully you guys will see the beauty and the genius of this painting. So, starting off, the first question is, on which boat are the pilgrims traveling? So, if you look on the bottom of this platform, the writing says Speedwell, and that is the name of the ship they are on. Also, it says 1620, which is the date of their departure. The second question we have is, are there clues in the painting that enable you to determine where they are at this time? Yes. Firstly, if you look at the sea on their left side, this shows that they are on the water, and again, the engraving on the bottom of the platform shows they are on the ship called the Speedwell. And another thing you want to take note of is the buildings on the right corner. This means that they are still in the harbor and have not yet taken off on their voyage. If there were seas on both sides, then it would mean that they would be in the middle of the ocean. But as there are buildings on this side, it means they're still in the harbor. So the third question we have for today is, what tools are in the foreground? Why are they placed there? So on the floor in the foreground, right here, you'll notice we have a sword, a gun, some armor, so a chest plate, a helmet, and this is how I interpreted it, but I thought that this foreshadows the measures the pilgrims must take in order to defend themselves against the Indians when they live in America. They have to build a fort and fight battles against Indian tribes who weren't as friendly than the others. I mean, of course, there were certain Indians like Squanto and the chief Massasoit who were very friendly and helpful. But something you also want to realize about this is that they only had one gun, one sword, one helmet, one set of armor in the foreground. So this shows that they ultimately placed their trust in God and sought His strength when defending themselves against their enemies. We also want to ask, what is the man in the center of the painting holding? Why is this significant? The man in the center of the painting is holding the Bible. This is significant because it shows the pilgrims were firmly rooted in the Word and put trust in the Lord, even in expectations of future troubles. If a man had another book, say, How to Survive in Sea Storms, it would assume the pilgrims put their consolation in that book or their own abilities, because it would be the last thing they read before they left for a dangerous and life-risking journey. Also, what was happening in this scene? In this scene, the pilgrims are reading the Bible and are praying to God. It says in Of Plymouth Plantation, quote, they had a solemn day of humiliation, unquote. They are reminding themselves of their lowliness and nothingness before God and recognizing His power and His supreme authority over their journey. The pilgrims are seeking His guidance before they depart for their life-changing expedition to America. Not only will their whole lives be changed as they leave their churches, homes, and for some of them their families in Holland, but they are also risking their lives. They know they will face hardships in their rough conditions, but they eagerly want to establish a society where the genuine gospel is openly preached without persecution. It's actually quite a simple goal, but it's so powerful. They don't want the gospel to be filtered through by the legalistic and man-made teachings of the Church of England. They authentically want the truth to be freely told without punishment. It's very admirable. They have hope in God, as seen through the rainbow depicted in the upper left corner, right here. You'll notice that there are gloomy clouds around it, which shows that even though they will face hardships, God is still there for them. And hardships may seem like He's doing the opposite, but really He's still providing for them no matter what they face. The sixth and final question we're going to answer today is, can you identify some of the figures in this painting? Yes. So there are 4 figures in this painting who we want to point out today. The first one we have is John Robinson. He's the man in the center reading the Bible. It says on page 50 in Of Plymouth Plantation, I'll get out my book. The Reverend Pastor, falling down on his knees and all with him, with watery cheeks, commended them with most fervent prayers to the Lord and his blessing. This man is looking up into the heavens with fervent prayers to God, which means he has an important religious role as their pastor. Because of his high position in the church, he is emphasized by being elevated on this platform right here, and also by the light streaming in through in the painting. This really gives him an important look. Also in Of Plymouth Plantation, it talks about Mr. Robinson reading Ezra 8:21 to the pilgrims. And in the painting, again, he's holding the Bible, so that supports that this man being John Robinson. The man to his right is Edward Winslow. Though he's still very respectful, he does not have outstretched arms in prayer to God, which assumes he did not have a significant position in the church. He could have definitely been a very strong Christian, but in a painting, you have to take every little detail as purposeful. But he is still focused on because he was one of the main figures in helping setting up the colony as he furthered trading and negotiated friendly terms with the Indians. This man could also be John Carver because he was also very important as the first governor of the colony, but they still maintained similar positions, but this man could be either Edward Winslow or John Carver. It's kind of mysterious. William Brewster is the other older man, kneeling to the right of Winslow or Carver, you never know. The painting shows him to have outstretched arms in prayer to God, which means, like Robinson, he must have had an important spiritual role in Plymouth, and Mr. Brewster was the first pastor in the colony. He has white hair, which presumably means he's experienced and wise, and therefore fit for pastorly duties. Lastly, we see Miles Standish kneeling in the bottom right corner. As you can notice, he is not on the platform right here, which shows that he did not have as important of a role as the others. But Standish was the main military leader in Plymouth, illustrated through him wearing armor and holding a sword in his hand. But if you were a cloak like the other leaders, he would not be distinguished as their military commander. This painting by Robert Weir is such a brilliant illustration of the purpose and motivation of the Pilgrims. Weir does an incredible job of using light and elevation to focus on certain significant features or leaders like John Robinson, Edward Winslow, William Brewster, and Miles Standish. He uses tools like the rainbow and the buildings in the background to give a subtle yet powerful attachment to the meaning of the painting. And this painting captures a crucial moment for the Pilgrims. The Pilgrims looked to God and his word immediately before they left for New England, and continued doing so even when half of their people were dying in the first winter and they were facing serious troubles. They put their entire trust in the Lord, knowing they would face trials ahead, but had a hope to set up a godly civilization for the future. We're about to wrap up class, but I want to leave you with this note. This painting is not only a great work of art, but it is also practical and convicting. It makes me wonder if I am also following in the footsteps of the Pilgrims. Am I putting faith in God, or am I trying to find comfort in myself in the passing things of this world? I hope you can all apply this lesson to your lives and set a firm foundation in the Word of Christ. Thanks for joining us, everyone, and I hope you have an amazing weekend. See ya.